Hello YouTube, this is Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels. Ken just left my house. He went to an estate sale today and he came back with this Shakespeare 2110 spinning reel. And it's not a high dollar reel or anything, but it's just the condition of it just made it to where I just really wanted to go ahead and do this reel today. I can't stand to have a reel this dirty, this bad off. So this is going to be our project for today. I usually try to do a little bit of research and stuff into things, but not on this one today. On this one, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it and take this off of the rod and see if we can't clean it up a little bit. The line, it's all line choked, so it won't work. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't cut some of this line free from it. And see if we can get it up and running again. I don't really want to dump all this mess onto my workbench. So what I'm probably going to do, as soon as I get this line off of here, is set it on top of a different rag and try to dust it off a bit. And yeah, there's a lot of line wrapped around the head of this. Okay. All right, I'm going to set this over to the trash can for a moment. I'll be right back and we're going to try to dust some of this off. Okay, I got the line freed off of it and got some insect larvae and stuff, old spider web crud on it. And believe it or not, it seems to work pretty well considering what it's been through and its storage condition. The drag works on it. The anti-reverse works on it. So anti-reverse override works. The bail trips. So we're going to take this thing apart and see if we can't get it up and running. We're going to start off by taking off the spool. It almost looks like it was in somebody's wood shop. Okay, we've got line choked up in around underneath it. There we go. Got that out of there. And I'm going to go ahead now and free up the handle. Take it off. And some more line wrapped around that. Okay. And we're going to go ahead now and remove these 3 screws from the side over here. Side plate. Inside, it looks much better than the outside. Here's your anti-reverse. Okay. We've got a pin holding on the crosswound block to the axle. That's a tiny little pin. We should now be able to remove the axle shaft. With that done, we can take the crosswound block out. And this looks like it's going to be one of these reels that's got the little horseshoe at the top of it over here to hold the rotor on. And it does. Remove the horseshoe. And this one actually looks more like a horseshoe. Look at that. Okay. Take that off. Now we can take the rotor off. And this is a bushing reel instead of a bearing reel. All right, at this point, we can take out the main gear out of the side case. And when I did that, the anti-reverse fell out. Okay, so now I've got to go back in and see if I can figure out how it's supposed to fit. Well, we're going to put that back in anyway later once we've cleaned it all, so you're not going to miss anything. All right. that's got that taken care of. Let's take a look at our rotor, and we're going to zoom back out. There we go. And I'm going to take a toothbrush for a second and try to dust some of this off over here over the trash can. All right, that cleaned that up a little bit. Now we're going to go in and see about taking this thing apart and cleaning it. I don't believe there's a spring mechanism on this side. I think there's only one on this side, but we won't know for sure until I take it apart. So let's work on doing that. We'll start off by removing this screw on this side panel. Didn't want to pop out of there. There we go. Okay, it's a lever type spring, or what they call it, I believe they call that a torsion spring. And I'm going to grab hold of that torsion spring and lift it up out of there, out of the hole that it's in, and free it up. There we go. Now, is there torsion? Is there? Yep, they're still spring loaded. So, well, maybe that's just a spring catching. Yeah, I think it's just that one catching. I don't think there's a spring on the other side. All right, let's go ahead now and remove the screw from this side. You should be able to lift this up and out and take the spring off. Okay. Go to the other side. Take that screw off, lift that out. And again, like I said, there's no spring on this side. The only thing that there is on this side is this assembly, whose purpose is to push the bail back. And let's go ahead remove the screw from this side and the screw from down here. There's a cover plate, and there's whatever is, there's a spring under there. Make sure to identify how it goes in. There it is, it's hooked right there. Okay. It doesn't even have a coil on it. It's just one loop. It's a one loop spring. Okay. Now we can take this cover off and see there's nothing there. All right. This part's ready to be scrubbed up. This part's ready to be scrubbed up. And what does that leave us? It leaves us just a spool to get done. So we've got the cover, the knob off of that. And I'm going to brush this top off. All right. Now we've got to try to take this spring out from this side. I'm going to use this smaller screwdriver here and see if we can release that. There we go. And then I'm going to use the ice pick to remove the drag washers. He's been sitting for a long time. Okay. There's a thick drag washer. This drag washer. This is another thick drag washer and a keyed metal washer. Okay. Wow, there's no keyway inside there. So this one, the drag is only operated just on pressure. Okay. We'll set those up to the top. Let them soak a little while. It's hard to believe that's all the drag washers that are in there. All right, we're at the point now where I'm going to take all these parts and scrub them and see if I can get them clean. And when I come back, hopefully we'll have some of this stuff gone. What a mess. Fortunately, it was mostly on the outside. And I'm going to go scrub all this up. I'll be back. Parts have all been cleaned up now and scrubbed, mostly. Every now and then I'll find something that I've missed on the initial scrub. And I'll go back and hit it again, especially like down this center core where the axle shaft rides. Okay. We're ready to assemble this rotor now, and we're going to start off by putting on the bale wire, I believe, and seeing if we can't get that properly set. So we'll start off with this side over here, and it's going to go on here like this. Get this piece kind of in the groove of sitting. I think it's, yeah, this piece is going to go on like this. All right. There we go. And this piece is going to go on like this, but what we need is this torsion spring to go in first. So it has to go up here in this hole, right here. Right in there, like that. Okay, and we're going to bring it down here. Set the other end into that hole, and then bring this back over to here like this, and we're going to put the big screw back in. Again, this is one of those curved type screws. A regular screwdriver doesn't fit it very well. It's amazing how often they use those coin screws. There we go. If you're going to operate this, make sure to put your finger over it, or it can shoot out, and then you don't know where it went. All right, that's got that one there. And this is the side cover, so let's go ahead and slide it into place and see about installing the first screw. That's going to be this one. And we're going to transfer over to the other side. And this is the side. It's going to have the trip arm. So let's go ahead and put the side plate on first, I think. That's where we're going to start. There we go. Side plate goes on. And then we'll install the screw for the side plate. Like so. And then we got this upside down. Goes this way. There we go. It's got that big deep inset. That's where this screw is going to go. Now we're going to have to put the trip plate on. The trip plate goes right here on this side, like this. But now what's missing? The spring that goes underneath it. And that's going to be this one right here. This is the one I have to remember exactly how it goes. Okay, it's going to fit in under here. Okay, now we've got to get it to hook on this side over here, I believe. Yeah, see, the spring's going to go right into that little crook right there. And it sure shoots out easy. Hope I can get it in without losing it. Tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and set the spring into the crook that it goes in. Like so. And then see if we can set it into place. Like that. Yeah, that seems to work much better. And then it gets the cover plate. It fits over the top. Like right there. Then I got this poor crusty old screw that fits in the bottom. There we go. Now, what we want to do is so that stays moving easily is we're going to go in and we're going to put a drop of oil on the bottom side where the spring is, and one on the top side over here where the spring is, or where the spring is not. And that should keep that moving freely forever and ever. And I believe I got the wrong screw somewhere. I do. Okay, and I'll show you why I know this. Okay, I believe that the screw I've got up here is actually going to go into this side over here because it's got this very flat head. And this one is catching on the top of the head. So let's put this one over there and see if that takes care of the issue. Could be just the one on the other side. This one might not be the one we're after. Okay, that head has a much flatter profile and it misses this arm altogether, and that's what we needed. Okay, now that's going to trip over like that, and this, when it comes back this direction, will trip the bail, and it does. All right, so let's put oil here, back here, and on each side up here. And that's got that. Now we'll move over and reassemble this spool. We're going to take this leather washer, the one that's big and fat that was on the bottom, and we're going to dip it into a little bit of cow's dry grease and work that into it a little bit. Slip it into the hole. Next is going to go this tension washer, and it's going to go in with the hump side sticking up like this. Then we've got one more of these leather washers, and I think there's enough left on my fingers to provide adequate lubrication. We'll put that one in. And finally, we're going to put in this keyed washer on top of all that. And then we're going to come back and reinsert this little clip. There we go. Clip's locked in place. It's in the groove. It's got that done. Now we're going to come back and put this spring in that was giving me so much trouble earlier. Okay, we want this to go in with this pointer facing this direction. Now, if you look at your anti-reverse lever, if we try to put it in that way, it's going to make it difficult. So let's flip it around this way. And now, we'll put this on the dog. We're going to hold that in place while we set the whole thing in place. It's easier said than done. There we go. Head in the wrong position. All right, slip that back there. Put our spring here. All right, now we're sitting on it. We're in the right configuration, but we've got to get this arm now to come all the way back and lock over the top of this cam mechanism right here, right there. Okay, see there? Now the spring is right here, comes down, wraps around, and goes over to there. If you flip the lever over here, see that pushes it back, takes it out of the realms of being able to touch the gear. And we were going to leave it there, but it popped off. I should have kept my finger on it when I moved it back. Okay, one more time. Set it into place. Hold your finger on it as you move the cam lever back, or the arm back. Bring it up and over top of the cam. There we go. And it's all the way back where it belongs. There we go. And that should stay there and do what it's supposed to do. As long as we don't go flipping it until we get everything put back in. We're going to put a little grease on the cam over here, just so that as that moves back and forth, it will not wear. We're going to put our gear in now with this shim washer that was stuck to the case when I cleaned it. We're going to put a little bit of grease back here on the anti-reverse just to keep it from wearing as it clicks along. And we'll put some oil on the drive shaft for the main gear, crankshaft. Slide that in. There we go. Now we can lift this back over. And we are in position and it clicks. Does what it's supposed to do. Okay, go the other way and it takes it off. And the gear is now holding it in place to keep it from falling off. Let's go ahead and install the handle so that it can't fall out. Oh, I let it fall out and there went the spring. Well, let me tell you what, I got really lucky because this spring is sitting right here. Okay. But it felt, I let this go because it felt like I was starting to cross thread the gear, and I was not. The handle was not cross threading, so I just got a little panicky for no reason. So let's take this apart, do it one more time. I'm getting pretty good at it. All right. Set the spring on the gear. Set it down in place in there. And I put it on, I did not do it right. Set the spring on the gear on the proper side. Like that, where the hook is on this side. Over here. Put that over top of the post. Like that. Hold it in place while you maneuver the dog back to there, like that. Put the gear back in. Hold said gear in place again. And tighten down the handle. Okay. Now the anti-reverse can't fall off. Spring can't go flying. Everything's as it should be. I'm going to oil this one more time right here. You flip the lever. No anti-reverse. You got anti-reverse override. Flip it back the other way and you've got anti-reverse. Now we're ready to install the rotor. We're going to put, this is a small rotating surface, so when I've got them like that, I'm going to go ahead and use grease on it instead of oil. Like that. And let's go ahead while I'm here and grease up the pinion gear. The excess grease off. Slip the rotor into the case and then slip on the horseshoe. Like that. Now, this is an asymmetrical block, and we definitely want to put it in the right direction. And if you look at it, as it comes around, if you put it in the wrong way, which would be with the long end to the front, it's going to impact the pinion gear. So you have to put it in with the long end to the rear. Before we do that, we're going to want to put some grease in the crosswind block and on the face of the gear. Set the crosswind block in place. Slide the axle in. Let's go ahead and oil the axle. Slide it in through the crosswind block and line up that hole. And then we've got this itty bitty pin that's got to go into that hole to lock it into place. And it does appear that you could probably get by with a finishing nail if you lost that pin. All right. I'll put the side plate cover on. Okay, we're ready to slide the spool on. Drop it down. Put the knob back on. Okay, flip the lever, grab hold of a piece of line. Let's see what we got for drag. Okay, can we tighten it? Sure can. All right, and let's go ahead, wind it in a little bit. Anti-reverse work. Let's tighten down the knob a little bit. Handle. Anti-reverse override works. Anti-reverse works. How about the bail? Bail trips beautifully. There you have, folks, the Shakespeare 2110. Hang on, I'm going to do a little bit of scrub up. I've got a little bit of dirt here that got missed on the initial cleaning, so we're going to hit it one more time with a little pin rod and reel cleaner and some judicious use of a scrub brush or an acid brush that I've trimmed down to use as a scrub brush. One last go at it with the cotton swab. All right, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like about it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.